not? For the Crunch Wrap Extreme live cooking class. Oh geez. Every time.
Stay to the left.
Stay to the left. Okay. So while everyone is jumping on, a few things to note. One, it is National Voter Registration Day. So if you're not registered to vote, please register today. This live is a fundraiser for Rock the Vote. So if you're enjoying the Crunch Wrap Extreme, please donate. It's more important than ever. Other things to note. If you have questions, my husband's behind the camera, so he will be prompting me. Feel free to ask whatever you want. And if you feel like it's going too slow or too fast, feel free to comment. He'll tell me, and we'll recalibrate. For those of you who are just jumping on, make sure that you have all of the things you need. They were in the slide yesterday, but I will review them right now. So, flour tortillas, large-ass flour tortillas. Tomato, dill pickles, they can be whole, they can be spears, they can be slices, whatever. We're going to chop them up. 1 garlic clove. I would say a 1/4 cup of either Greek yogurt, sour cream, or actually today I'm going to use mayonnaise because I ran out of yogurt yesterday. Some kind of hot sauce. Today we're going to use sriracha. Yesterday I used Calabrian chilies. You could also use sambal or just like a classic hot sauce. Eggs, which are over at the stove, and butter or oil, salt and pepper obviously. And then if you happen to have dill, I pretty much put dill on everything, but it's still going to be delicious. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Any herb really would be awesome. How many people are on? Should we get started? Good. Okay, so let's just talk about the Crunch Wrap Extreme really quickly. Oh my god. I want to clarify something because I feel like a few people got kind of upset that there isn't actually like a crunchy tortilla or tostada inside like the Taco Bell original. But to that I would just say that there are pickles on the inside which add crunch, but more importantly, we are going to level up by, after we wrap these burritos, frying them in butter or oil in the nonstick skillet. And it's going to create like this crispy exterior on the outside and everything's super soft and smushy on the inside. That's my version of a crunch wrap. Also, if you want to put tortilla chips in it, I'm not mad about it. Okay, so this happens really quickly, so let's just do a little bit of prep first so that when we come back here we can assemble really quickly. So I'm just taking a couple of baby dills and I'm going to slice them. Can you see this? I'm just going to slice them thinly, lengthwise. If you have spears, you can just kind of cut those in half and then slice them crosswise. It doesn't really matter how you get there. They could also be little rounds. Point is you want about like 1 baby dill per wrap. We're going to make 2 wraps today. One for me, one for Ben. But make as many as you want. So just chopping up the pips. And then your tomato, thinly slicing it. Yesterday I used a green tomato. It wasn't a green tomato in the sense of a like underripe tomato. It was just a green colored ripe tomato. So we're using ripe tomatoes. And I'm just slicing them thinly. One thing you can do, will you pass me a paper towel? Because this tomato happens to be extremely juicy. So one thing I like to do if I'm adding something to a... Oh, excuse me. Are you still alive? Okay, that's, your bad, not mine. One thing you can do is season your tomatoes. I'm just grabbing my salt. And lay them out on a paper towel to soak up a little bit of that extra juice because this is a very juicy wrap. And so as much as I love tomato juice, it's maybe a little much right now. Okay. We good over there, camera guy?
Barely.
Rookie. Okay, so then let's make the condiment. So the thing that makes this so delicious is that there's some kind of garlicky, fatty basically. Oh. Okay.
We're good.
We're having some technical difficulties. And by
We're
we,
good.
I mean Ben Willett.
Hey.
Are we still live? Okay. I was talking about the fatty condiment that's going on the bottom of this. It is important because it makes the whole thing super juicy and luscious and delicious. So I'm going to just smash and peel one garlic clove. And I forgot to tell you this, but if you have a microplane, oh my god, this guy just spilled a glass of water. If you happen to have a microplane, grab that, because that'll help you grate this garlic right into your yogurt or sour cream. If you don't have a microplane, just finely chop it. And I would say do like a half of a garlic clove. It's pretty intense. I'd say a half of a garlic clove to a quarter cup of yogurt, sour cream, mayo, what else. And then we're just mixing it up to combine. Season it with a little bit of salt. And set that aside, and we will slather. Okay, the only other thing you should do is that if you have dill,
A lot of Ben comments.
A lot of Ben comments?
Yeah.
Stealing the show. Pick a little bit of dill and just kind of like roughly chop it and set that aside as well. The goal here is to set everything on the sides of your cutting board because we're going to have to assemble on this cutting board, and we want to have ample space for rolling. So just clear yourself a little bit of room, and then we're going to go over to the stove, and we're going to make some lazy ass scrambled eggs, which I'm really excited about. Just one sec. Okay, now that you just figured out that camera angle, it's time to go over here. Okay, so Ben's going to come with me. We're going over to the stove. Was that too fast, I wonder? Are people still chopping pickles? I wonder. I don't know. Okay. Scrambled eggs. We're going to make marbled eggs today, which basically means that we don't need to crack and whisk these eggs into a bowl and beat them until they're perfectly blended. That's definitely one route. I love a custardy scrambled egg made that way. But today, because we're feeling lazy and I just don't want to pull out extra bowls, we're going to make marbled eggs, which means we're going to drop them in whole into the skillet and scramble them in the skillet. But I'll show you a trick that I learned from Salty, the restaurant slash cookbook from Brooklyn, as to like how to properly marble so that the whites don't dry out by the time the yolks are custardy. So throw some butter, this is like a tablespoon and a half, or oil in a nonstick skillet and set it over medium heat. And we're just gonna let it melt. And once it's melted, we'll start cracking. So I'm gonna do 3 eggs for 2 wraps. So figure like 1.5 eggs per wrap. If you're only making 1 wrap, just do 2 eggs. Kind of depends on the size of your tortilla. If you have one of those like extremely big dogs, you might want 2 or 3 eggs. Okay, so
You're going a little fast.
I'm going fast. Okay, people are just still melting butter. Any questions? Oh, no questions. Just tell me I'm fast. Okay. Well, I'll give it a second. I'll pull this off the heat. Maybe you're still cleaning your cutting boards. That's cool. If you have any questions, obviously throw them my way.
Donate.
Yes, donate. You guys will see the donate button. We are raising money for Rock the Vote today because it's more important than it ever has been to register to vote, and it also happens to be National Voter Registration Day. So donate and then find out if you're registered to vote if you don't know, and please register today. Okay, I feel like we're back up to speed. Okay, so butter is melted or oil is like relatively hot, and we're just gonna go ahead and crack 3 eggs right into the skillet. And this oil is not like ripping hot. We're not making fried eggs here. It's just sort of, it's hot-ish. And then right away, let me turn this up to medium. Right away, I'm gonna start just scrambling the whites. So pushing the the whites around in the skillet, but I'm not touching the yolks yet because I don't want the yolks to dry out. And so we sort of let the whites set, which is like the part that it's most important that you cook in an egg anyway. And then at the last minute, we're gonna crack those yolks, and the yolks are gonna kind of like marble in to the eggs.
What temperature?
I'm over medium heat right now. We're not looking for browning, so if you feel like it's like sputtering and you're getting some brown edges, turn it down. And then you can always like tilt the pan if you feel like there's sections that are like pooling up and you need to release some of that egg white. Okay, so now we have like scrambled whites but completely raw yolks. And then it's at this point that I'm gonna pop, pop, pop and just marble these guys in because they can stay pretty wet and juicy without fear of them being like undercooked, which wouldn't be great. And now just season well with salt and where's pepper? And pepper if you like pepper. And then you're just looking for completely set whites and slightly custardy, bright yellow marbled yolks. So that's it. That was like 1 minute of cooking, and they're going to continue to cook off the heat from the residual heat of the pan, so always err on the side of sort of underdoing it and keeping them wet. Okay, back over to the...
Carla just showed up.
Carla! Hi, Carla. Back over to your cutting board station. And now we go for assembly. And so this skillet is going to be used one more time. We're gonna head back over the stove in a second, but first we're going to assemble our crunch wraps. Okay, so layout 2 or however many you're making tortillas. I want to talk about tortillas briefly. Can you see how this tortilla is slightly translucent? Is that like there's window panes, you can sort of see color through it? That is because this tortilla is made with a lot of fat. And so that is what I look for in a tortilla, is something that's not totally opaque, which suggests that there's a fair amount of fat in it, which means that it'll be really supple, and especially when we go to crisp it up in the pan, that fat is gonna all sizzle and fry, and the whole tortilla is gonna get nice and crispy. So like a mission flour tortilla is like on the low end of the fat spectrum. These I got at Super A, which is my local grocery store. They make them in-house there, they're amazing. And this has a shit ton of fat in it. Okay, so we're taking our garlicky stuff, because we all have a different one, and just smear it out, but leave like 1 inch around, because we don't want it oozing out the sides. And do like a generous tablespoon per wrap.
Are there alternative tortillas you can do, like flatbreads or something?
Oh yeah, you could use like a naan, or you could use a pita. I would maybe cut the pita open and stuff everything inside, and then crisp up the pita on both sides. You could do corn tortillas. You just like rarely see them this large, and this is more of a burrito type of experience. Okay, so that's down. Where's my spatula? And now I'm going to divide my marbled eggs on top and arrange everything in 1/3 of the burrito, because it's going to start rolling this way. And so if your shit is all over the burrito, once you get towards your roll back here, everything's going to start being pushed out. So you want to sort of right justify everything. And then also just try not to overstuff them, because that is what makes rolling so tricky. Okay. We've got garlicky shmoo, oh my god, down. We have marbled eggs. We're going to layer these tomatoes right on top. Couple per. lining everything up. You just want to be as organized as possible, really, when assembling a burrito, so it doesn't go haywire. And then I'm using sriracha, but whatever you have, a little drizzle right on top.
Someone asked if this was a hamburger.
This is not a hamburger because hamburgers have meat in them, and this is an egg. But thank you for asking, and I'm happy to clarify that for you guys. Okay, and if you have dill, scatter some of that over. And then seasoning with salt and pep always. And then we're gonna roll, but I'm just gonna give you 1 second to get everything assembled before we start rolling, because I think that's an important technique for everyone to learn. Other questions from the crowd? Or is this just crystal clear?
It's pretty clear. Any pickle alternatives?
Pickle alternatives, that's a great one. If you have pickled onions, that's awesome. If you have pickled chilies, you could use that instead of the hot sauce and sort of fuse the pickle and spicy moment in the wrap. Cornichon, which are pickles, but you might just happen to have a jar of those hanging around. The point is here, we're looking for something super acidic that's gonna cut through the fatty eggs and that condiment, that sour cream condiment that you made underneath. So it's an acid, it's a need for acid that you're trying to satisfy.
A lot of apron questions.
Apron questions. This is the Boz apron, shameless plug, on alanakone.com, ALANAKOHN.com. It's a collab apron that we made together, and this is from the latest season. But I don't know what is up and available right now, but check them out. Okay, so let's do some rolling. So now, arrange a tortilla so that the stripe is closest to you here. And you're going to fold your sides in, first things first, okay? And then you're going to pull up this back side and kind of tuck and roll and pinch and tuck and roll and pinch all the way until it's a little packagina. And then you might want to wash your hands in between because it's a little messy. And then let's do it one more time. Set that aside, keep it seam side down so that it compresses and it doesn't break open. Okay, again, so everything is closest to me, folding over one side, folding over the other side, and now I'm picking up this back lip, and I'm just kind of tucking in the sides as I roll, so it's nice and tidy. Boom. Seam side down. So that's those two. And then take that skillet that you just scrambled your eggs in and wipe it out. And then we're gonna head back over to the stove. I'm actually gonna throw these right in here. So throw them in seam side down. Very important. Okay. And now that your Crunchwrap Extremes are in the skillet, turn it on over medium heat again, and either add another ½ tablespoon of butter, or you can do just a little drizzle of oil into the skillet. And we're just gonna let them chill. There's not much to do but wait for them to get golden brown and crispy. So, in the meantime, we can talk about other things. Such
Tuna. People miss
Where
tuna.
is she? Let's get tuna.
She's outside.
Oh, I'll get her. So just leave those until they're crispy. Here, look, here she is. Come out.
Bring her in.
No, come out. She's on the chair. It's cute. There she is, the little packaginas. Say hi, Toons. Oh my God, she's like, fuck off. We'll bring her inside. Wieners. Tuna is alive and well. She's had a great time in quarantine. She doesn't know that we're in quarantine, which is why she's blessed, unlike the rest of us. she is. Here's our little girl, our little princess. Hi. Okay, I'm sizzling. Do you hear me sizzling over here?
Probably not.
I'm gonna go wash my hands, guys. I'm washing my hands because I just touched the dog. We love that. Is everybody else sizzling right now?
Oh, someone said tuna is getting thick.
No! How much have you been feeding her? We're actually really careful about how much we feed her because we want her to stay really petite. She's not thick.
But that would be fine if she was.
But also, yeah.
That's
it's
her
really-
journey.
It is. But we just like the exaggerated, like, long hot dog. So, like, if she fills out, then, like, her cartooniness kind of...
Oh, your dad's here.
Hi, Dad. You're just joining, Dad? Oh, Dad. What have you been doing this whole time, Dad? Okay. Can we hear the sizzle? No? Yes? And then just take a spatula and take a peek if you feel like you're getting brown. We are lightly golden. I'm looking for golden brown. And the longer they stay in there before they get totally burnt, the crispier they're going to be. I like to crisp up 2 sides of the burrito, but not all 4, because I'm all about the crispy to soft ratio, interplay, combo platter. So the tops and the bottoms get crispy, but the outsides just stay nice and soft and supple. It also makes it easier to eat because if the entire thing's crispy, everything just comes spurting out of it. What else can I answer?
What heat?
Questions for Ben?
What heat are you on?
I'm on medium heat, and I'm going to flip now.
Do you push down on that?
Yeah, you can push down if you want to make good contact. I actually think I'm going to turn mine down. I feel like it's kind of burning. All right, I'm flipping. Ooh, delicious. I mean, come on. Careful of your fingies, but I don't have feeling in my fingers, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, that is what we are here for. So that's approximately the gilded exterior that you're looking for, and then season the outsides with salt. Anytime that you fry something in oil, it needs to get seasoned with salt. You're adding fat, anything that comes out of a fryer or just been cooked and hasn't been seasoned needs salt. I know I'm a broken record, but it's true. So seasoning the outside is crucial, last step.
How do you feel about adding cheese?
I feel great about adding cheese. Sometimes, so we make these all the time in this household, and they're not just with eggs. This is kind of like our go-to sandwich. And a lot of times we'll use like leftover rotisserie chicken and shred that up and do everything else the same. But one thing that we've done before is put like broken up shards of feta in there, which is nice. It's not a melting cheese, so if you're looking for like a cheese pull oozy moment, you could go with like a cheddar, or I mean, I wouldn't be mad about American either, really. I mean, just anything that melts would be great. Something sharp is nice. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom sides. Yeah, they're perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna kick the heat off and take them back over the cutting board. They sound really yummy. Okay, so now we're seam side up. And then I can smell the little tomato juices coming out. And that's it. And then it's over. And you, all you have to do is cut them in half. And then we can do like the interior reveal shot, which everyone loves. Just get a really sharp knife, cut them in half. Am I in frame? This way? Do they look good?
Juicy.
They're juicy, they're dripping. My hand is dripping. You need lots of napkins for these. And that's your crunch wrap extreme. Pretty simple. Doesn't have to be just for breakfast. Like I said, put any kind of meat in it. It could be a hamburger if you want to put ground beef in it. maybe it is a hamburger. It has the potential to be a hamburger.